In this masterclass, we would like to speak about content marketing. Content marketing in a company, if it is your company or if it is your client's company. When you're an employee of a marketing department of such a company, I would like to tell you how you can set up a target picture and deduce work packages. When you are a management consultant, I would like to tell you how you could define such a project, what are the project phases, what skills are necessary, and how you can technically implement it. And when you're a creative, I would like to tell you what could be the role of your agency and how you could perfectly support bi-internal communication. My name is Thomas de Moch. I'm a management consultant at Capgemini, and many times we have realized content marketing projects with regards to organization, with regards to the technical implementation and change management. And change is necessary because content marketing is much faster, is interdisciplinary and extremely data-driven. Why are companies so keen in realizing content marketing? This commercial has been composed for the most part on the computer. The advantage is clear. You have approximately 20% less production costs than for real shootings. But such commercials need data. This data normally comes from the research and development department or the design department. They are working with rendering tools and you can use this data to compose such commercials. So in principle, the data are available. In principle, in theory. The reality looks different. Let me give you one example. I would like to tell the story of Markus. Markus is working in the marketing department of Mercedes-Benz. And some years ago, Mercedes-Benz decided to change the logos. They changed the color of the logos from blue to black. And therefore, all the logos had to be changed on the vehicle, in front, on the back, also on the wheels, so on the rims of the vehicles, the logos had to be changed. And of course, on all advertising materials. So Markus invested all his creativity to think through where could the logo appear. For example, here the logo appeared on a photo of a brochure. Do you discover the logo? It's on the wheel on the left-hand side. So Markus looked for all these logos. Therefore, he contacted product marketing, marketing communication, the press department, the training. He gave a phone call to the agencies and to research and development. All together, they looked for old blue logos in the different advertising materials. In Excel files, on hard disks, in databases. And this took an entire week. We made an analysis and it became clear that 12% of the time was needed for searching. 29% was used for comparing the different versions in the advertising materials. 30% is lost because Markus waited for responses of his colleagues. And updating the IT system and finally printing the new brochure took together 22% only. So 22% were really value creating. And unfortunately, this is a general problem. Because imagine all the facelifts, the short vehicle life cycle. Think of the model range. There are so many advertising materials which have to be changed. This is the reason why a big car manufacturer asked us to reorganize his content marketing and to establish a good digital asset management. Today, I would like to speak about this content marketing project. All in all, it's a multi-year content marketing program at a major car manufacturer. The first two project phases have been already completed. Further project phases are to follow. Currently, we are just before the technical implementation. You can learn from our experience how to set up such a project and how to conceive a strategy, how to realize new work processes, how to do the enablement, what technology is of use, and how the future creative executions should look like. I would like to tell you what worked and what you better avoid because it can go wrong. So from 2 years of project experience, I would like to give you 3 advices. So first of all, how to develop a target picture and to break down into work packages, how to align conflicting interests within your client's company, because they will appear, and how you can technically implement content marketing. So my presentation is divided into 3 parts. The first part is about the content strategy, and there the recommendation is clear: avoid scissors in your head. Second, it's about organization. Fall in love with the CMO and marry processes. And when it comes to the technical implementation, my recommendation is: without automation, you're done. My presentation will follow exactly these 3 chapters. But before we start, let me give you a definition what we're speaking about. Please remember the TV commercial in the beginning and the switch from the blue logo to the black logo. There it was about searching, managing, and using content. Finally, it's about data. Such data can be managed by so-called digital asset management systems. A digital management system, in short DAM, is a software for searching, for editing, and for managing and distributing content, mostly for the use in websites or in other media. This content could consist in text and multimedia documents. So digital asset management is not content marketing. What is content marketing? Content marketing is the creation of content that provides the target group with an added value. So it has to be highly relevant to the target group. It has to be distributed in the right moment in order to engage the customer into a dialogue and to finally sell products to them. So characteristics are: it's about the creation of content. It has to be really relevant to the target group. It has to be distributed in the right moment of time. And we intend to pull the customer into a dialogue. So content marketing and digital asset management is not the same, but digital asset management is a prerequisite for content marketing. The objectives are quite different. Here are the objectives for digital asset management and for content management. So with digital asset management, you intend to save time. For example, you can raise the search speed by 47%, you can raise the team productivity by 19%, and you can lower the risk of non-authorized content publication by 44%. These are KPIs we collected by experience from many projects. When it's about content marketing, the objective is to raise impact. For example, by a more coherent corporate design, you can raise the impact by 54%. And by 22%, you have more brand impact. And the turnover will raise by 23%. These are experiences we made from other projects. After this definition, let's start with the first chapter, the strategy. Here it's important to avoid scissors in your head. What do I mean by this? In our content marketing project, we didn't start with a technical solution. We start with a target picture. So what do we really want to achieve? What is our objective with content marketing? So first we develop the content strategy. There it is, as usual, first about the target group, about the content types, about the objectives in the communication and corresponding KPIs. Behind there was the question, what fits to the brand? Let me give you one example. There has been actually a man who loved his Mercedes-Benz so much that he wanted to get buried in his vehicle. So this could be an interesting story to be published in content marketing. And for sure, this will raise also awareness. But is this a good story? No, it wouldn't fit to the brand values of Mercedes-Benz. So this is content we would never distribute. What is important here is to see content marketing from a consumer perspective. However, many truck and van manufacturers in the vehicle business, especially in B2B, they do not think about the consumer. However, it's extremely important to have this consumer perspective. So what is helpful for the audience, what applications of the product are helpful, in which context do they use the product. For example, a gardener might be interested to know how to get information, how to secure loading of plants and woods on a vehicle platform of a Mercedes-Benz vans. This is interesting content, and this has to be defined beforehand. How can we achieve this objective? First, we did a target picture workshop. The objectives of this target picture workshop were as follows. First, deduce a content strategy from the overarching company objectives, identify challenges from company environment, for example, from the competition, inspire the team to set up really ambitious objectives, and leverage know-how of the marketing team. And finally, get the buy-in of the marketing team for this project. Why is the buy-in so important? Because the marketing team was really skeptical about content marketing. Originally, the marketing department was divided in two teams. It was a traditional marketing team and a digital marketing team. So online communication, offline communication. The offline people were responsible for TV, print, radio, out of home. The digital marketing team was responsible for web, performance marketing, and social media. I can tell you, the offline team thought they are not concerned by content marketing. So why should they contribute to the overall success? Collaboration was key, and therefore it was really helpful to invite the entire team for this target picture workshop. We realized this in 3 sessions, and there we followed a combined top-down and bottom-up approach. In the first workshop, with the team leads, we realized the overall target picture. In the second session, which was also a one-day workshop with the entire marketing department, we continued with the bottom-up approach. So we started top-down with the long-term marketing roadmap and the annual marketing objectives. We operationalized them, we went down, and we tried to inspire the team by best practices from other clients. For example, from Berliner Verkehrsbetriebe, from BMW, from Lufthansa, who have already successfully implemented content marketing. So in this chapter, we spoke about the environmental drivers. We also told the team where the competition stands and how they can really set up ambitious targets. And this we broke down to the team targets. Here, the team leaders came into play. We made 5 teams develop in breakout sessions what principles could guide them for their future work. By this, we mean the scope of work, but also the work style, the culture, the mutual expectations. And on this basis, we developed a first target picture. And here comes my first recommendation for management consultants. What you can do as a management consultant. It's really helpful to inspire the client with best practices. We did this with examples from BMW, Lufthansa, Berliner Verkehrsbetriebe, and Red Bull, who have been successfully realizing content marketing in their companies. And second, what is really helpful, suggest a benchmarking to the customer. For example, we have an international benchmarking at Capgemini in terms of digital maturity of the marketing department. And this helps the client to understand where are the gaps, where are white spots he has to fill. In the next one-day workshop, we worked with the entire team. This was the bottom-up process. And there we developed a second target picture. As I said, with the entire marketing department. The aim of this workshop was to validate the feasibility of the overall marketing objectives in daily work. So it was a kind of reality check. Therefore, we asked the employee what the objectives mean for their daily work. And we did this with a post-it play. We made them put the post-it on the objectives and give an interpretation how they understand the objectives. So this means they examined in detail the specific work processes for content marketing. We did this in relation to the current role and competencies, however, being open for possible rearrangements of the processes and the roles. And the aim was twofold. First, detail the work process, perhaps even reorganize them, and finally develop a second validated target picture. This was what I understand by a top-down and bottom-up approach. The result of this target picture workshop was a clear mission statement and a definition of the scope of work. And by this target picture workshop, it became also clear that we had to develop 3 work streams. First, work processes. That was about the distribution of work and the agency interfaces. Second, organization. There we decided to work on future roles and responsibilities and possibly on a new organizational structure. And third, marketing technology. There we had to deduce the requirements from the work processes to the future IT system and to define the sources where the data come from and the channels, the distribution channels where the data should be fed in. And it became clear that we had to develop a 4th stream, change management, because already in the workshop there appeared some conflicts within the different parties, the online team, the offline team, and we decided to work on the culture and to develop a clear change story. How to start? I would always start with the responsibility and the task of the employees, and so we did. Now it's about chapter number 2, organization, and here my recommendation is clear. Fall in love with the CIO and marry processes. In this project, it was about bringing together the process streams of 2 formally separated teams, the online marketing team and the offline marketing team. And the goal was really to bring this together, these teams together in a common content marketing process. We did really one big mistake. And this was not integrating a third party, which is the IT department. It's absolutely necessary to have in parallel the IT processes deduced from the real life work processes of the marketing department. We didn't do that. And if I would have to do this project again, I would of course integrate the IT department from the beginning because they should develop marketing technology processes and IT processes which perfectly support the marketing, content marketing processes. This is really important. We did this by analyzing the high-level content marketing processes, so for copy, picture, and film, originally separated, and then finally we recognized that there isn't that big difference anyway. But in the beginning, we started with the separated processes, reaching from strategy to the editorial work, to the concept development, the creation, then the production, the legal check, the content administration, so really working on the assets and the digital asset management system, the distribution by the different online and offline channels, and finally the control of the success by adequate KPI. The task in this project stream was really to drill down and to develop the processes not only on the first level, but to go deeper onto the second level and even to the third level. So really on the level, where do the data lie? How do I distribute the level? How do I distribute the data? And how do I really work with them? These were the 3 levels we developed in the process development. Additionally, we had always a look on the roles and responsibilities. Today, who is doing what in which project step? And what is highly recommendable, we also had a look on the capabilities. So not only what role, what responsibility is necessary by a project step, so who is doing what, who is informing who is responsible for what, but also who has the capability to do it. So what we did as well is analyzing the current capabilities of the people. We did this by analyzing more than 100 skills of the involved people. Of course, we had to cluster it, and we found out that we could form 4 different clusters. These were marketing analytics, strategic planning, marketing technology, and communication and media. And here you see the example of one employee who is working more in the creative execution of content marketing. And you can see that first of all, what is requested is a capability in strategic planning. Second in marketing technology and, of course, in communication and media. So advertising production, media publishing, and product know-how. Nobody of the entire teams covers all clusters for sure, but the combination makes the difference. So the entire team could be characterized by these 4 clusters. What did we do with this? We used these capabilities to regroup the teams. So where does it make sense to work together? Which capabilities are needed in which process steps? And who are the people standing behind the process steps and the capabilities? And by this, we married the 2 processes, the offline and the online processes, and formed an entirely new content marketing process from strategy to control. May I show you how we finally organized content marketing? As I said, in content marketing, relevance and speed are key, and both can be ensured through the following working process. First, in the topic radar, market researchers use social media monitoring to record what consumers are talking about on the internet. The result is a scope of topics relevant to consumers. In the strategy department, a brand strategist then assesses whether these topics fit to the brand values. And in addition, a data scientist groups the topics according to target groups. In a weekly editorial meeting, it is clarified which items from this scope of topics are taken up. And since the topics can affect all areas of the company, representatives from a range of business areas take part. So sales, marketing, customer service and press, but also the legal department and creatives. In the production department, the creatives begin to work on content such as copy, text, picture and film. In addition, an asset manager checks whether content on this subject is already available in the databases. And then channel managers work with the results of the creatives. They are responsible for operating the media channels. These are owned, paid, earned, as well as the traditional offline channels. The channel owners also do the tracking of those medias. The KPI per channel go back to the strategy department. Their goal is the ongoing improvement of content. This way of organizing marketing is fast, agile, and produces relevant content. We call it the content empire. So let's start with chapter number 3. And here my recommendation is look on automation, because without automation, you're done. Initially, we ignored this in the project. Remember that I said we didn't integrate soon enough the IT department. And remember the video about the content empire. Their asset management doesn't play that big role, because initially we were much more driven by thinking about the creative production process. But in reality, we became aware that the digital asset management plays really a big role. Let me tell you how in the second project phase we defined the requirements for digital asset management tool. The digital asset management relies on software. This could be, for example, software from Adobe. It's about data provision, content creation, and content distribution. It uses data from different sources, which you can see on the left-hand side. For example, data from the research and development department, from the design department, from the product management or the sales department, and of course the agencies. This data is administered, managed, and distributed by the digital asset management system. Around this digital asset management system, we have a lifecycle manager and a workflow manager. The lifecycle manager is made for updating all the different content pieces, because, you know, in the car industry, you have a so vast model range, you have many facelifts, and you have a product life cycle of approximately 3 years, and then the vehicles will be updated and facelifted. So a lot of assets have to be renewed. Therefore, we have the lifecycle manager. And we have the workflow manager. The workflow manager is made for editing and creating the assets. On the right-hand side, you find the different channels. For example, the point of sale, the website, and the ordering system and the salesman information system, because we also distributed content which has a more informative character. This was made to inform the sales staff about the new vehicles and to distribute this content, which is not advertising content, via other channels. This entire system has been conceived in the headquarters and should be rolled out finally to the different market companies, because also the national sales companies should use the content prepared by the headquarters. In summary, what did we achieve? We have defined the work processes, we defined the necessary competencies step by step, so for each process step, and based on this we have conceived an organizational structure. We have also operationalized the mission of the marketing department, and we broke it down to the requirements in terms of a good marketing technology solution. We have also defined the task for the teams, so that all in all we had a great content marketing process. Our approach is really nicely illustrated by this graphic recording, which is the result of one of the target picture workshops. So technically sound, but not really emotional, even a little bit naive. Here I see a good opportunity for agencies. Change management is good, but professional internal communication, a real internal campaign is needed. We need a key visual that addresses the heart of the employees and brings the mission on the point. Management consultants are struggling here because we are more fact-driven, and I think this is a big chance for creative people to realize a catchy communication. And I tell you why. Because it can go wrong. Change management is really important in such kind of project. We have encountered substantial resistance within this project, which means the organizational structure which we proposed was not completely accepted by both teams, so by the online team and by the offline team. Our conclusion: change management is really important. And even if one would think that professional marketing people are cosmopolitan and open-minded, I have to say they still remain human beings with their emotions and with their resistance to change. And this you have to bear in mind. So what can we learn out of this? I think it was good to integrate all the employees in the different workshops, because this gave us really a substantial sustainability in our realization, a good buy-in. Second, we identified multipliers. We named them change ambassadors. And for those multipliers, we prepared specific communication materials, for example, elevator pitches to spread the word. We increased the frequency of newsletters in order to inform all involved employees. We integrated the IT department from the beginning, which was good. And we had one dedicated resource doing change management. So, in sum, you can't do too much change management. What are the takeaways out of these two project phases? First, start your content marketing project with asset management. We started originally more with a creative dogma. However, it's important to really look on the digital asset management, because there is so many data within the company. With these data, you can realize really great creative executions. Second, integrate your agency work processes. We didn't do that. However, this is really important because a lot of capabilities lie in the agencies, and the agencies are normally the extended workbench of the marketing department. So it's really worth to integrate them in the overall work processes. Third, consider the distribution of work of the national sales companies. As I told you for the agency, the same applies to the national sales companies. There are marketing departments. These processes has to be recognized within your overall content marketing process, because the content is normally also distributed via the national sales companies. Fourth, involve the IT department from the beginning. Fifth, assess the necessary skills of your team and see how you can leverage it, how you can evolve it, who has to be trained, and perhaps which kind of personnel do you have to recruit. Number 6, you can't do too much change management. Let me explain you now how you could realize content marketing in 6 steps. So first of all, define with your client the target picture. Define it in close collaboration with all employees. Second, start with change management. Integrate the people from the beginning and do a lot of change communication to explain why the people should move from A to B. Number 3, define marketing organization with business and IT. Include again your agency in the definition of the work process. Deduce requirements from business processes and then buy adequate marketing technology. I've seen it so often that first people buy marketing technology and then look after the business processes, and nobody knows to handle this great marketing technology. And when it comes to marketing technology, think of establishing the digital asset management first and then address content marketing, and finally think about real-time monitoring of the consumer's interests in order to deduce relevant content. And number 6, measure your success. So have a look on the savings, have a look on the impact, have a look on how many people and which departments are using your content, and what is the impact on the consumer side. I also have recommendation when it comes to opportunities. So for the creative people within the audience here at the Online Marketing Rockstars, but also for management consultants and for employees of marketing departments in companies. Let me first speak to the marketing team. So when you're an employee of a marketing department, concentrate on digital asset management. This relieves you from a lot of difficulties in finding, managing, administrating, and distributing the right content. You will save a lot of time, and you will have the possibility to go back to creative work and to concentrate on your creativity. Think about the cost savings. You can save cost and time by realizing a good digital asset management and leverage the data. Once you have installed a good digital asset management and a content marketing process, you could even become a knowledge hub when it comes to data, and you can leverage the data. By this, you will get a lot of insight about the consumer, and you could even deduce from all the data you have about the consumer interesting opportunities for new services and products. What recommendation do I have for management consultants? There are a lot of opportunities for you in this business. First of all, when you're going to realize a project with a marketing department of about 30 people, think about the sizing of your project. I made the experience that 6 management consultants are good in order to manage 30 people of a marketing team. Second, inspire your client by your best practices. Normally you have a big repository of comparable projects. So look for the best practices and do some kind of benchmarking, because this is really inspiring for your client. And third, think about the enablement of the team. I spoke a lot about the capabilities which are necessary for content marketing. It makes sense not only to look after the capability which are needed, but to train the people, to enable the people. So there is an opportunity in terms of training for you. And when it comes to agency people, it's also interesting to look for an integration in the client's department, in the marketing department. And perhaps you get inspiration how you could probably change your business model and get closer to your client. Second, of course, change communication. Change communication campaigns are needed. The same is true for the mission statement. There you can bring in yourself with your creative capabilities and realize great internal campaigns in order to support the change management. How can you start right now? Well, assess yourself, assess the maturity of the marketing department of your client, I suggest you a maturity assessment, which you can download via this QR link. There are 20 questions, and in 5 minutes you can assess the maturity of the marketing department of your client with regards to IT, to processes, to organizational structure. And you will find out how mature is your client and what opportunities to exist. All the best for your next meeting.